A struggling black actress agrees to fake a relationship with a cold billionaire CEO to save his reputation. But everything changes when she discovers he's actually her long-lost childhood fiancé she believed was dead. As old memories resurface and real emotions bloom, their fake romance turns dangerously real. Was it fate bringing them back together, or a carefully crafted lie about to fall apart? Before we continue, have you subscribed yet? Hit that button for more amazing stories, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. The paparazzi flashes were merciless. Amara Lane blinked through the glare as the cameras snapped like firecrackers on New Year's Eve. Her practiced smile didn't waver, but her hand rested stiffly on the arm of the man beside her, Lucien Hale, billionaire CEO of Hale Industries, and her boyfriend of the last 2 weeks. Of course, it was all a lie. They had met not through fate or sparks or chance, but across a polished conference table with legal teams and contracts. Lucien needed a girlfriend. Amara needed a miracle. A scandal had rocked his company, a rumor about Lucien and the wife of a business partner. Whether true or not, it was bad for business. His PR team spun up a brilliant fix, a public relationship, the kind of sweet, innocent romance that screamed harmless gentleman. Amara, a fallen starlet with no recent work and no remaining clout, was the perfect candidate. She had been on top once. After a breakthrough indie film and glowing reviews, she was celebrated, especially as a dark-skinned black woman who brought depth and strength to every role. But in Hollywood, applause fades fast. One public fallout with a powerful director, 2 underperforming movies, and she was as good as invisible. So, when Lucien's people offered her a 6-month contract and enough money to pull her out of debt, she said yes. The fine print was clear. Public appearances, affectionate photos, maybe a fake proposal near the end. No emotional entanglements, no real relationship. Lucien didn't even pretend to charm her. He was cool, calculated, and intimidatingly still. His voice never rose, his eyes never warmed. To him, she was a solution, a tool. And yet, Amara couldn't ignore the strange familiarity in the way he looked at her sometimes, like he was trying to remember something long forgotten. Their first real moment happened during a thunderstorm. They were on their way to a fundraiser when sudden rain flooded the streets. The event was canceled, and Lucien, surprisingly, offered to drive her home himself. "You don't seem like the chivalrous type," Amara teased, watching him tighten his grip on the wheel. "I'm not," he replied, matter of fact. But halfway across the bridge, the car stalled, dead. Lucien slammed the steering wheel. Amara, soaked and shivering, started laughing. He stared at her. "You find this funny?" "You, Lucien Hale, stranded like a rom-com cliché? Yeah, I kinda do." They found refuge in a neon-lit diner, half empty and buzzing with flickering lights. He ordered coffee. She got waffles with extra syrup. For the first time, they talked. "I didn't want this life," Lucien admitted. "I wanted to be an architect. I studied design, built models. But after my father died, the board pulled me in like a puppet on strings." Amara twirled her fork. "I was supposed to be the next Viola Davis. Instead, I'm here pretending to date a CEO for rent money." They shared a small, broken laugh. It was the first crack in the wall between them. A week later, she found the box. Lucien had asked her to grab a coat from his guest closet before a photo shoot. A dusty box fell from the top shelf, scattering its contents. Old photographs, drawings, a plastic ring, a locket, and a folded note. "To Lucien, from Mara, your almost wife." Her heart stopped. No one had called her Mara in years. She picked up a faded drawing of 2 children beneath a tree. The girl was dark-skinned, crowned with curls and a smile. The boy had messy hair and held her hand. The caption read, "Lucien plus Mara forever." Her memories flooded in. Childhood summers in Vermont. Her grandmother's cottage. The boy next door who made her laugh. Who proposed with a cereal box ring. Her best friend. Her first love. She remembered the day he left. A car crash, they'd said. He'd died. She cried for weeks. But now, standing in a New York penthouse, she realized the truth. Lucien Hale was her Lucien. She confronted him that night. He stood by the fireplace, nursing a glass of scotch. "You knew," she said, holding the ring between 2 trembling fingers. He turned slowly. His eyes searched hers. "I wasn't sure at first," he said softly. "You changed. So had I. But you remembered. Yeah. When I saw your name on the proposal, something clicked. But I didn't want to say anything. You thought I was dead. I thought maybe you'd moved on. She swallowed hard. You were my best friend. You vanished. I thought I made you up. He stepped closer. I never forgot you. I kept the letters you left in the tree. I kept this. He held up the crumpled drawing, because it was the only piece of home I had. Amara's voice cracked. Why didn't you tell me earlier? I didn't want you to feel trapped. I wanted you to stay because you chose to. After that, everything changed. They still posed for cameras, still held hands in public. But in private, they were something more. They talked until sunrise, cooked breakfast together, fell asleep on the couch mid-movie. She started seeing glimpses of the boy she once knew, in the way he raised one eyebrow when he was amused, or how he always waited for her to start eating first. He told her about boarding school, how his father faked his death to avoid scandal and control the company narrative, how he had no say in any of it. She told him about struggling to prove herself in rooms full of white men who called her too intense or too niche, about the pain of watching roles meant for women like her go to lighter-skinned actresses, about losing her voice in a town that loved her image, but not her truth. Sometimes she'd find him sketching alone at night, floor plans, buildings, or her face. When she asked why, he said, "Drawing reminds me I'm still human." And one night, on his rooftop under the stars, he kissed her. It wasn't rushed, just soft, steady, and sure. He pulled away slowly, searching her eyes like he was still asking permission to feel this deeply. The city sparkled beneath them, a million lights bearing witness to something real. Neither of them said, "This changes everything." But it did. They sat in silence for a while. He offered her the blanket, then draped it over her shoulders when she refused it out of stubbornness. "I used to replay our last summer in my head," Amara said softly, voice trembling. "Like maybe if I remembered it perfectly, you'd come back." Lucien exhaled, hands clasped tightly in his lap. "I used to dream about you, but every time I woke up, I'd tell myself it wasn't real, that you were just a kid's fantasy." Her fingers reached for his. "I'm here now, and I don't want to lose you again." The contract was due to end in December. The plan was a mutual breakup, some heartache for show, but nothing messy. Amara's agent had secured 2 new film auditions. Lucien's PR team was already drafting the goodbye posts, but the thought of leaving him made her stomach knot. Then, the night before their split, he came to her door. No speech, no tuxedo, just Lucien, nervous, hopeful. He held out the cereal box ring, then another box, a new one, velvet and real. "I want to rewrite our story," he said, "for real this time." She stared at him, eyes wide. "Marry me, Mara. Not for business, not for the cameras, just for us." Her smile broke into tears. She stepped forward and whispered, "You found your way back to me." He nodded. "And I'm never leaving again." Epilogue. They married under the elm tree in Vermont where their story began. No press, no glam squad, just close friends, a string of lights, and the wind whispering through the leaves. Amara walked down the aisle with her head high, a glow around her that outshone even the afternoon sun. Her dress was simple, elegant, her skin radiant, her eyes fixed only on him. She wore her curls loose, just like she had as a child, and around her neck hung a delicate silver chain with a plastic ring attached. Lucien wore navy, and he cried when he saw her. This was more than a wedding. It was a return, a reckoning, a full-circle moment the universe had been waiting decades to complete. As they exchanged vows, tears spilled freely, not just from them, but from every guest who had witnessed the impossible become inevitable. "I loved you then," she whispered, "and I love you still." "I found my way home to you," he said, "and I'm never leaving again." Later, they danced barefoot under the stars. Amara didn't return to acting immediately. Instead, she started a program to support young Black artists. She taught them to write their own roles, to tell their own stories. Lucien restructured Hale Industries, finally building the architectural branch he'd always dreamed of. He designed their first home himself. They still kept the ring, the plastic one. It sat on a shelf in their bedroom, next to the drawing of 2 kids under a tree. Sometimes love starts as fiction, but the truest love stories the ones worth remembering, are the ones we write back into reality.